Welcome, Ram fans, to Swollapalooza Thursday, but it's also final score night. We get a 2-for-1 tonight as CSU just wrapped up a game in Palm Springs against Washington, losing 73-67. We'll get into that for sure in a little bit. We'll also have a little bit of fun with talking about Thanksgiving, and I'm going to do my top 5 side dish rankings. Thanksgiving is probably the most fun of all the holidays. It's a family day for us, and my son is here, my daughter is here with her husband, and we had a friend come over, so we had a nice dinner, and I cooked the entire meal. I get some help in terms of delivering some of the side dishes, but the meal is mine, and it is my favorite day for that reason. The only thing I didn't make get involved with making was a pecan pie that my daughter made, so which I'll be grabbing a piece of probably later if I don't go for the blueberry pie that I made or the strawberry pie that I made. No peach pie this year. Anyway, I see there's 9 of you out there. I'm trying something tonight. Supposedly, I'm live on X. I have a blue check now, and but just to let you know, on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, live chat, I can actually post your live chats, but I don't think I can. You can comment on X underneath the stream, and I can see it, but I can't post it. So just to let you know that if you're interested in getting your stuff posted on the stream, probably best to watch on YouTube. But this is something I'm actually pretty excited about. I had to go out and get the blue check on X to be able to do this. They don't recommend necessarily doing simultaneous live streams. Some people think, well, that's stupid. It's harder to get monetized if you're splitting your audience into 2 different groups. I actually think it's better, and it should come in handy because I have a heck of a lot more followers on X. Also, when we do the Mountain West post game stream, I do at least one a week with my good friend Tom Moser. We're both very active on X, and so we think we'll reach quite a few more people. So here, look at this, a comment already. I'm going to get into this. Feel better about rebounding and Mbemba back was good. Lee, I'm going to get into that in a minute as I talk about the game, because the rebounding was certainly a factor. Let me just wrap up with just some thoughts on Thanksgiving. I'm going to be interspersing my top 5 side dishes as we go through the post game chatter as well. And so I'm going to start off with my 5th. This is number 5 in reverse order. Sweet potatoes, number 5 side dish, not yams. We're talking the white sweet potatoes, not the orange. Those are yams. Those are not sweet potatoes. My family insists on real sweet potatoes. For a family of 5 and 1 guest, I made probably about 5.5 pounds of sweet potatoes. My wife loves them. So anyway, that's number 5 on the list. We'll go down the list shortly as we look at this. Corey, one of the Butler boys, Butler posse, sweet potato casserole number 1. I don't know, man. I got sweet potatoes number 5. I have never been a big sweet potato fan. My wife would go sweet potatoes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So anyway, let's get into the game and let's talk about it. I'm actually not down. I hate when this team loses. Believe me. I don't like the fact we're 3-3. I think there's a little more there than what we're seeing on the floor, and it's always disappointing. But I was actually very encouraged with how the game went, even though the final score wasn't where we necessarily wanted. There were 2 numbers that stood out, and that was rebounding, where CSU had I believe, a 42-32 rebounding advantage. Let's see if I can pull the box score up. There it is. and the overall, if you look at it in terms of this is the game box. Let's go to the split box instead. Give me a second here, and we'll go to the split box, and you'll be able to see the comparison. You can see the rebounding advantage, 42 to 32. That is a good sign. CSU has been struggling on the boards. The addition of Rashawn Mbemba was definitely a big factor that helped with that. But if you look at the rebound totals, it was a team effort. You had everybody delivering on the glass today, even Casey Evans with 4. That was a big number, and it allowed CSU to really compete. And don't forget, there's some good players on that Washington team. Former Mountain West Player of the Year, Great Osabor, who ended up with 8 rebounds. He's a $2 million NIL player, and he showed a lot of stuff. CSU did a relatively good job with him, and to beat them on the glass was good. That was actually a bigger margin. Nevada played them earlier in the year. Washington, they played them in Reno, and they out-rebounded, I believe, by 7 or 8. CSU out-rebounding by 10 is a pretty big story. The other number I wanted to show and talk about was the points in the paint. CSU, that's a number that is always very, very important to CSU, is winning the points in the paint. You will always hear Coach Medved talk about liking the 3 and loving the paint. And if CSU is scoring in the paint, that's a good sign. Washington has some good inside players. CSU outscored them 36-28 in the paint. The margin was actually 24-10 in the first half. Had CSU shot the ball a little better in the first half, they would have been out to much greater than a 2-point lead. So I am very, very encouraged by those two numbers. And I'm not down. This was actually, other than the very first game against North Dakota, a weaker opponent, where CSU rolled out to a 30-plus point lead, and then kind of gave back about 10 of those points, ended up winning by 26. Ever since then, the team has struggled. They've struggled rebounding the ball. They got murdered on the glass by Tennessee State. They got beat pretty bad. They ended up coming back on the glass against Mississippi. They got beat, I believe, by Cal Riverside the other night. So anyway, it was tonight was a much better effort, and that was Ram basketball. Other than they got beat for one reason. If I go to if I put the box score back up, the 3-point shooting was what did them in. You had 10 for 22 by Washington. You had 7 for 22 or 7 for 22 by CSU. 3 more field goals from 3. Are they better shooters? They were tonight. So that's all I can say. Corey has a this is a good comment, because you can see the minutes went a little different. They were spread out, and they were dished out perfectly tonight. The only issue I think we had, Corey, was Nick Clifford getting in a little bit of foul trouble tonight, and had to sit. Only played, I believe, 8 minutes in the first half. He played most of the second half until he fouled out with a minute to go. But that was I think you're right. They spread them out. I thought, and we had talked about it the last post game when we dropped the game to UC Riverside. The fact that we hadn't been playing 2 bigs, and it was really nice to see us start with a couple of bigs and filter in, whether it was Jorgensen, started with Jalen Crocker Johnson and Rashawn Mbemba. We saw Jorgensen play a little bit with Crocker Johnson, and then we saw the smaller lineup that featured Ethan Morton at the 4. And so we definitely we definitely spread the minutes out, and we definitely went a little bigger. And I think that that showed. Now, obviously, the 3-point shooting was an issue, but I think that'll come. It's time to take a little break from talking about the game. It's time to go to number 4 on the list. Okay. You can laugh at this, but for me, number 4 is asparagus. I love asparagus on Thanksgiving. Sorry, gang. My asparagus, my son-in-law loved it today. I didn't think it was as good as I normally would have it. I didn't have the lemon pepper. I ran out of lemon pepper and forgot to pick it up. I don't know about you guys, but Thanksgiving shopping for meals, it's real hard to remember everything. And it was pretty funny last night when my wife looked at me and said, "You're making pies, right?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you know if you have any pie tins?" And I said, "Oops," and had to run out to the store. Anyway, asparagus number 4. I'll fight you on that. Getting back to the game, 2-point margin in CSU's favor at halftime. Started the the second half a little slowly, fell behind by 8, and then made a run and got it back to 2, a 2-point lead with about 7 minutes to go. Bowen Bourne hit a couple of threes. I think Nick Clifford hit a 3. I'm trying to remember in my mind. I don't have I'm not going to pull up the play-by-play. That's just overkill. But they got back in the game. They shot, I think, 2 for 12 in the first half. To get to 7 for 22, that means they shot 5 for 10 in the second half. That was better. But that allowed them to creep back in the game, take the lead by 2. And then, unfortunately, we saw a 10-point run by Washington where CSU went cold. And that 10-point run from about the 6.5-minute mark to the 2.5-minute mark was a decisive run, pushed the Huskies back into an 8-point lead. And as hard as CSU fought to get back, got it back to within 2 with 45 seconds to go. Bowen Bourne had to take a foul to prevent a layup. It was ruled a flagrant 1, which gave free throws in the ball to Washington, and that ended up being a decisive play. So, there's some things I want to talk about a little bit in that last minute. And I had some people saying Nico should have taken a timeout. He was out of timeouts. He had to burn some timeouts. And so he was out of timeouts. But here CSU had got it back to 2, and you would hope there'd be a little more situational awareness on the court, where the coaches don't have to yell at the players to get back. They don't have to foul. They don't have to get beat. If they force a stop, they get the ball with 10 seconds to go, down 2, with a chance to tie or win in the final 10 seconds. Nick Clifford had fouled out. They're without one of their leaders on the floor. I would hope the players would have a little more situational awareness in the final minute, and unfortunately they didn't. The Bourne foul, somebody pointed out in the comments, the tough call on Bourne late from Lee. He might be more comfortable. He might be getting more comfortable coming off the bench. It was a tough call. That's a 50-50 kind of play. And to be honest with you, the lead ref in this game is a guy named Bert Smith, and I like Bert Smith. I've seen him ref multiple games. I saw he refed a CSU game in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I remember him reffing a game in Moby Arena a few years ago, and he's considered a top 20 ref. And, that's always a tough call. So, what can I say? I don't know if it was or wasn't. Tough call, tough way to lose. But ultimately, that 10-point run was what did him in. So let's go to it's time. Let's go to number 3. You can't argue with the standard mashed potatoes and gravy. My family likes mashed potatoes. I had some. I don't eat a lot on Thanksgiving. I have fun cooking the meal, but I don't eat a lot. But I had some mashed potatoes and gravy. I made 6 pounds of mashed potatoes. We got enough mashed potatoes to last us for the weekend. Here's Corey. I think that's the right call on Bourne now. And yeah, Corey, I wouldn't argue it. It's a tough call. Some people said, well, he fouled him with the left hand, but there was maybe a little more activity with the right hand that made it look flagrant. I'm going to trust the judgment of the refs. There was actually, what's his name? Darryl Garrettson's kid, former NBA ref, was one of the refs today. But like I said, I trust Bert Smith. I think he's a good ref, and it's a tough call. I wish they had not put themselves into that particular situation. Lee with green bean casserole. I like green beans. I do not like green bean casserole. I don't like any kind of bean casseroles, but to each his own. I'll fight you on that, though. I'm sorry. I'm having fun with this. Keep firing in your favorites because everybody's got their favorites. You're gonna laugh when I put up my number one, and that's okay. You can give me all the gas you want. It's my favorite. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Anyway, getting back to the game. Nick Clifford, 13 points, 9 rebounds. I thought, for a guy who got into foul trouble, he was our leader. Jalen Lake, again, 12 points, 4 rebounds. Kyan Evans, career high, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 turnovers. But I will say this, the turnover issue was big today. We did turn the ball over, I believe, 15 times. Washington ended up with 11. One of them came at the very end. It was really 15-10. We were -5 on turnovers. That's been an area of strength. And so again, that cost us, and you have issues. You lose games when you go minus in turnover margin when the other team makes a lot of threes. But the bottom line is, I'm confident in this team's ability to deal with to be plus in terms of turnover margin. They have been good all year. They've been top 50 in creating turnovers, and they've been top 100 in terms of actually giving up turnovers. And so I'm not worried about that. It just is one of those games where it happened. I am very happy with the rebounding margin, and I hope we continue to see the rebounding margin. And I'm very happy with the points in the paint to be able to do that. And that's against a coach that has seen CSU. He saw CSU twice. He knows what CSU's offense is all about, having coached at Utah State. And so I think that was a very, very positive. Like I said, I'm not gonna, other than the fact that we lost and I hate losing, I'm not going negative like I did. I'm not launching like I did against UC Riverside. This was a much better effort, much better team effort against a much better team, and this could have gone the other way. Let's go number 2. You gotta have stuffing in your top 5. How many of you eat stuffing during the year? I don't eat stuffing much during the year, as much as I like it. I live for it inside turkey, put a few different ingredients in it. I don't make anything fancy, but to be honest with you, I can live on stuffing and gravy for the next 2 days. That's always been something that I've enjoyed since I was a kid. Stuffing, number 2. Comment here. Here we go. Corey, Clifford has been underwhelming since the Denver game, though. They need him to get going somehow. I think the foul trouble was an issue today, and I think other teams are loading up against him, Corey. You're right. He does have to get going somehow. I think that's partly on him. I think that's partly on the rest of the team and the coaching staff to put him in better spots. Other teams are going to load up on him. He's the number one. For the first time in his career, he's the number 1 guy on the other team's scout. Last year, he was number 2, number 3. He was never more than number 4 or number 5 in his career at CU. So you're talking about moving to a number 1. I think that's a fair statement. That's part of his development, and I think we'll see more and more out of that. Out of Neek, and I'm not concerned about it. I think we'll see more out of him. I think that's a good comment, by the way. Corey I'm enjoying Corey. He's really getting into the games, and like I said, he's from Butler, Pennsylvania, home of Ethan Morton. I had Corey on my one of my post game shows. I think it was the Ole Miss game when we got smoked in the first half. So. Anyway, it's good to have him. It's good to have a lot of people. I'm seeing a large number of people. I actually have access to the number of people watching feel free to shoot comments to me and shoot through the live chat. I have Corey and Lee. I know there's a lot of you out there. Like I said, I should be able to see your comments if you're putting them out on X. I can't put them on the screen, and I think they're just coming in. Oh, Lee's coming in on X. Actually, I was told I couldn't put them in off of X. So hey, that's good. I'm learning. This is a first. But there's 41 of you out there in the live. That's more than double what I'm used to having. So this is really, really good. We're building this community. I'll get to that when I close and how much fun I'm having with this. But it's time, folks, to go number one in terms of Thanksgiving side dishes. You can laugh all you want. If I don't see some pretty obnoxious comments to this, I'd be surprised. But this is my number one. This is my family's number one. This is a recipe that has been in the family for years. We used to eat these when I was a kid, and I can't say I liked them as a kid. Number one, creamed onions, pearl onions with a cream sauce. You can't tell me that isn't the best side dish going. I want to hear from you. How many of you had creamed onions today? Do you even have it? Have you even thought about it? It's my number one. So anyway, here we go. Let's see. There's a comment here. Lee Peterson, here we go. Look at this. Loyola Marymount, tough little squad. Michael Porter Jr.'s little brother is plays for them. His other brother isn't doing so well, is he, Lee? His other brother did he get thrown in jail for game fixing, for fixing prop bets? They did win the Cancun Classic. They beat Wyoming. They went way up on Wyoming in the first half. Wyoming put a 31-11 to run on them to lead by, I believe, 8 in the second half. And then all of a sudden, Loyola Marymount came back, and they were the ones. I think they hit the three. They hit the three at the buzzer with 2 seconds to go, and Wyoming dropped a game. Wyoming played very, very tough at the end. What's really interesting, Lee, is, and we'll see what this team does. CSU has handled. This is the third of a 3-game. I believe we had a 2 home, 1 away with Loyola Marymount. We have played them the last 2 years. Our undermanned team 2 years ago. That was Isaiah Stevens' first game back after breaking his foot. He hit the shot, 15 seconds into the game, turned to the crowd and said, "I'm back." Played a few minutes. We absolutely smoked them in Moby Arena 2 years ago. I think we beat them by 16 or 18 points. And they had a good team 2 years ago. It was actually a surprise we beat them that bad. And then we traveled to L.A. Right before Christmas last year and beat them by 8 or 9, ran out to a huge lead and then fell behind in the second half. They had a few guys who could chuck up and make threes. And then we ended up putting them away. And that was Nick Clifford's career high in that game until this year was that game. He had, I believe, 21 points. So they are a tough little team, a good West Coast Conference program. Stan Johnson is the coach, and they usually play pretty tough. They're a very physical team. They set a lot of good hard screens. So does CSU when Rashawn Mbemba's in there. I am so happy that Rashawn Mbemba is back. I like the screening action that takes place when he's out there. He can score 4 points a game and get 4 rebounds, but he's gonna eat up a lot of space in the paint, and he's gonna create a lot of space for guys on the perimeter by the way he sets screens. We really need him healthy. So that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the game. We got a game tomorrow. I'll be coming on tomorrow after the game. We'll be playing TCU. TCU got absolutely smoked by Santa Clara today. Santa Clara beat them 68 or 69 to 52, and it was not a contest. And Santa Clara is finding their stride. They're up to about 83 in KenPom. they're kind of at the level of where UNLV is. CSU's fallen to about 115 in Ken Palm, and with the record now at 3-3. Corey with the plus minus question. Actually, what was really interesting was if you looked at the first half, the bench guys had tremendous plus minuses. Bowen Bourne was something like plus, I want to say plus 16 in like 9 minutes or 8 minutes or something ridiculous. Morton was a big plus in his 10 minutes on the floor in the first half. And Jorgensen and Keyshawn Williams had good pluses in the first half. Keyshawn Williams played a lot less in the second half, and I don't know why. I don't know if something was bothering him or if it was a coach's decision for some other reason. He played 10 minutes in the first half, only 4 minutes in the second half, and it turns out he ended up a plus 9 for the game. Had a decent little game, but I'm not sure. That's a coach's decision. I'm not going to get into bitching about minutes or who played here and who played there. The coaches are still learning this team. It's a shame that we are not further along, but Mbemba being hurt has made it harder for them to be further along. Now that he's back, if we can keep him healthy, we'll start seeing, I think, rotations that become a little more predictable, and you'll start seeing things and this team come together. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game to see if this team can come out with some fire on the second of back-to-back games. It's going to be very, very important. They could fall below 500. TCU is a top 75 team. But these are the games you got to have. CSU is watching, unless they run the table on the rest of their non-con, they are going to have to do a lot of work in the conference schedule to think about any kind of at-large. The non-con schedule last year, don't forget when the net rankings came out, CSU was undefeated, and they were 12th in the net rankings. They came out the first week of December. We should see those next week. CSU will be more like 120th when those things come out. They might even be worse. So you're looking at a non-con where it's time for them to turn it around. The TCU game is a good start, and then we still get Loyola Marymount. We still get Radford. We get CU a week from Saturday down in Boulder. We still get Virginia Commonwealth, who's a top 50 team. And so we're looking at we still have 3 quad 2 or quad 1 opportunities. We're going to need all 3 of them, to be honest with you, and that's going to be a tall task. Here you go. Why does the defense blow so badly out the gate every game? Love to know the opponent's shooting percentage in the first 5 minutes. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, Corey. I'm going to have to look at that. I don't. We fell victim to an early run. I believe we fell victim to an 11-0 run right out of the chute. Fell behind, and then we put a nice 14 to 4 run on them to take a 3-point lead. So, it's I don't know the answer to that. I think they were ready. Sometimes the other team makes shots. I don't think that's necessarily been true in all the games, but I'll look into that, and we'll see if we can talk about that and keep an eye on that in tomorrow's game with the TCU game. So if there's anything else, any other comments you want to make or throw at me, feel free. Here's Corey again. If I would guess, I bet the last 3 games, I bet they're shooting 18 for 23 in the first 5 minutes. I will take a look at it. And to see. I don't remember. Did Riverside come out of the chute that quickly? I don't think Riverside did. Mississippi certainly did. They tattooed us in the first 10 minutes. So anyway, I'm gonna start shutting it down, guys. I do want to say this. I want to express my gratitude to everybody. This has been fun. This final score show is turning into a lot of fun. And like I said, I've got 3 times as many people as I normally do, and I owe that, I think, probably to being on on X, in addition to YouTube. I usually do my Swollapalooza Thursday show with an interview. I decided not to interrupt anybody's Thanksgiving. I usually do my final score with a co-host, and I've had nothing but great ones. I do my Monday morning show with co-host Brady Hull, who has been a godsend to me, not just in terms of having a great partner, the top radio guy in Northern Colorado, but somebody I can learn from. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback from everybody in terms of the quality of the shows. I am really proud of the show Brady and I did with Isaiah Stevens on Monday, where I pre-recorded an interview with Isaiah. And I would encourage you, if you haven't gone out to see it, take a look at that particular video. I spent about just under 30 minutes with Isaiah talking about what he's been doing since he's gone to the G League, talking about his time with the Miami Heat in training camp, talking about summer league and getting a ring in summer league. And I think it was a wonderful insight into the next steps for Isaiah and the challenges he faces and the just the joy he plays with. I've got to tell you, there's something I did. I did a video for him. If you've seen it, hopefully you enjoyed it. I did a watch along with Isaiah, and you can go out to my YouTube channel and you can find the watch along video as a standalone. If you don't want to sit through the Monday morning cup of coffee show with Brady and me and Isaiah for 35 minutes, go out and look at that watch along with Isaiah. It's one of the videos that I posted, and you will see a kid that had so much fun reliving his career at CSU. Additionally, it wasn't just reliving it. Look at the smile on his face and then listen to some of the comments. We had a blast talking through some of that stuff. So I really want to encourage you to take a look at that. I got a very nice note from Isaiah's mother today on Thanksgiving, thanking me. She thought it was a great interview. She really enjoyed it. I've gotten feedback from other people as well. So have a look at that. I'm really proud of the work we're starting to do. I've had great interviews and great support from CSU on Monday. We've had Kyle Jorgensen. We've had Jalen Crocker Johnson. We've had Bowen Bourne, and I've had assistant coach Brian Cooley. The support I get from Nico and Medved and staff has been tremendous. I can tell you right now, other YouTube channels doing what I'm doing for at other schools do not get the support from the athletic department like I get from CSU. So I'm very grateful to Nico and his staff and his players. It's been a lot of fun. My Thursday night show, I've had some players. I had Jalen Lake just last week. And I've had a lot of media people, starting with my friends Joel and Mike from ramnation.com. I am so grateful to them. They have been great friends. They are a part of my in-game text messaging. We do a lot with them. I've had my friend Luke Kingsley on to do my very first final score show after one of the games, and Luke is part of our little texting group in game. I've had other local media people, Justin Michael from DNVR Rams, Kevin Lytle from the Coloradoan, Adam Nygon, who does the radio color. And I'm so happy that I get a chance to get, we get to talk to each other, but it's really about the community we're trying to build and our love of CSU basketball. So I'm really just so grateful. The number of subscribers is going up. The feedback is getting better. I think the quality of show is getting better. And I want to thank all of you. I'm very grateful for all of you. Corey, I am so grateful with the live chat. I really, really love the live chat. That's why I do these things live. If I didn't enjoy the live chat, if I didn't want the interaction, I could pre-record a post game. I could just record it and then put it up 30 minutes later and walk away. But I want the questions, and I want the hard questions. I think that's part of what it's all about. I think I'll look into the slow starts, the first 5 minutes. we'll see what, and we'll keep an eye on that for tomorrow. But again, thank you all. Lee, thank you so much. I think that's the first time you've come in, and it's nice to see that the comments can come in from X. So everybody, thank you very, very much. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Look for me tomorrow. We'll do a final score show tomorrow. And then I'm also going to do with my friend Tom Moser, we're going to do a Mountain West game as well. So I'm going to do 2 different shows, 2 different streams tomorrow. The Mountain West game, we haven't decided if we're going to do Utah State or if we're going to do New Mexico. Utah State did beat St. Bonaventure to advance to the final of their particular MTE. I'm not sure where UNM is at. I believe they're playing tonight. And so we're going to choose one of those 2. There are 2 great fan bases. I hope you folks will join in. The Mountain West is going to be interesting. We may not be looking great at CSU, but trust me, by the time conference schedule rolls around, I think we'll be a much more dangerous team than what we're showing right now. We showed some signs tonight. So Corey, I appreciate the debates too. You're a very important part of this community. I love you, man. I love the fact that you do it from Butler, Pennsylvania, and it's 10:36 at night back on the East Coast. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you all tomorrow night. Go Rams.